Can we, the ocean community, whatever our talents and interests are, what can we do to address something that could not be addressed 20 years ago, or even 7 years ago, or maybe even last year, because we are finally at a point where we are beginning to see what we're doing to this little blue speck in the universe and how fast things are changing. And Marcia McNutt, you talked about your vision of 2025, and when are we going to reach these tipping points? Well, we're probably there already in some measure. Having reached 400 parts per million CO2, what is the tipping point? Have we passed it? Is it still out there? We hope it's still out there somewhere, that we won't reach this point of no return for some things. But when you look at what we've done to populations of ocean wildlife, have we reached the tipping point for some of the whales and other marine mammals? Their populations are beginning, some of them, to recover, but can they come back to a level that finds a place for them within the systems where they used to be important players? Or what about the fish? I mean, whatever the numbers are, some say as much as 90% of the sharks, or some of the sharks anyway, some of the tunas, cod, a long list of things, whatever it is that they were 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, the decline is evident. Just follow those trends. Coral reefs, where were they 50 years ago? Where are they today? Kelp forests, where were they? Where are they today? Dead zones, where were they 50 years ago? They mostly didn't exist, but there were 10, there were 100, now there are hundreds of so-called dead zones. We could not know this 50 years ago when the policies that we now live by were put in place, many of them. And we still believe that we can extract at a high level ocean wildlife based on policies that were put in place when we didn't know what we now know. So, the challenge, the hope for this conference and whatever happens to all of us for the next 7 years, the next 70 years, whatever it takes, to really apply ourselves to that goal of how do we maintain the integrity of the ocean systems that really govern the way the world works, now that we know how important the ocean is to climate, to weather, to temperature, to the fabric of life, to our lives, most importantly. We did not know that the ocean was fundamental to keeping us alive when I was a kid. But now we know. We also know, as has been said in 20 different ways, the ocean is in trouble. Why can that not be a unifying force for the technologies, for the science, for the communication? Kids need to know that they have the best opportunity that any generation has ever had. They can be, we can be, all of us alive today, the heroes that stabilize the way the planet works so that there can be a future for humankind. It really is up to us, and this is the time.